Hello. This is Sherry again, and I'm just having my morning coffee and about ready to refill my water here because it's running a little low. I usually keep some spare water right here beside me to avoid unnecessary trips into more public areas of this. I wouldn't want to call it a facility, building. So keep that water there handy so I don't have to leave this little place here too often, too frequently during the day, during high traffic hours. So anyway, it's been a very eventful night, but that's not anything new. So I got a little bit disturbed. I saw a very emotional video uh, about people migrating from Africa trying to come here to the U.S., and it looked to me that they were strongly discouraging that action. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not even real great for rich people here. And when I say rich, I don't mean the 1%. I mean, some of these people that a lot of people think are wealthy, they're the new middle class. I hate to break it to you, but they're the new middle class. So you don't need to be hating on anybody just because you think they have money. I assure you, anyone with any money has it locked down as tight as it can be. Bullshit. But this is, yeah, it's the smell is the weirdest thing. I can't quite describe it. It's just like burning electricity. Some other abnormalities that I noticed were that after my computer desktop PC went down, and I, uh, got this laptop to the condition where I wanted it. Got that metallic taste in my mouth all of a sudden. Somebody must not like what I'm saying. I would suggest they not fucking watch if they don't like, because I haven't even posted it yet. Anyway, that's kind of how it is here. Uh, the air has got a funny smell. It seems to be coming from outside. I'm not sure what they're doing, but it seems to be that they may be doing uh some cleaning up or something in phases, because I smell it and then there'll be a break and then you'll smell a little bit more. So it's not constant. Um, and I would say it's definitely something that's in the air out there. So I'm sure probably my neighbors over on Gum Street can smell it. Seem to have some typical. Our experiences seem to be the same. Me and the people on Gum, and I go over. It's a street, just a kind of a just not even half a block. Computer up to speed where I wanted it. The
And when I brought this computer up, I lost an hour, and it's 7:27 a.m. right now, according to my laptop, and it's just now getting light outside. I mean, there's a quote unquote cloud cover, uh, but it's it's just now getting light. So I think it was an hour behind my other computer was. Now I don't know. I'm not saying anyone else's, how anyone else's clock or anything is here, but I had set my watch according to my watch is typically not correct when I make a video, but that and I'm glad for that. And it is. I did set it to be correct before the other computer went down. Hint, hint. And now
Now my watch is an hour behind as I set it uh, with the other computer. It's a little winding Swatch watch. It's called a Swatch. Used to wear them in the 80s and then and a little bit into the 90s, but I can't. I think it was, yeah, high school, 80s. It would have been 80s, back when Wham was real popular and the hair bands and all that I didn't listen to, but that wasn't really my taste in music. I was a real big rockabilly fan, and I was a big fan of, believe it or not, because I never play his music, but my favorite singer back then was actually, uh, well, I mean, when I say favorite, I mean like mainstream favorite, was actually John. He was called John Cougar back then, and I just loved him. I just thought he was just the fucking coolest, guy out there. I liked David Bowie too, but he was mainstream, but also not as mainstream, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with this watch, but I can't seem to put it on right now. Anyway, it's an hour behind, and now I'm on this little piece of shit laptop, but it'll do. It's actually running pretty quickly for uh, for a computer of its size and memory. When I say size, actually, that to me is irrelevant. I don't typically store a lot on my hard drive, so I don't need a lot of hard drive. I'm more into having a lot of memory on my computer, so it will be quick and speedy. I'm not real picky about processors. In fact, this one I stepped down a little bit so that I'm not on the 2.4 radio processor, graphics processor, GPU. This is a slower processor clockwise, so I'm not real interested in the overclocking, or if I want to do that, I'll get on the Raspberry Pi that are made to actually mess around with. A lot of people, take that to an extreme, I think, with the Arduino, and I think that the American audience has not uh, done well with Arduinos, and that there's been a lot of really unnecessary crap made that's very harmful. So I just don't think that the population in the United States, at least a portion of it, are responsible enough to really work with microcomputers or microcontrollers. I think there's been a lot of damage done, and I think they know that, and I think they did it on purpose. So that's that. But I do have a Raspberry Pi, two Raspberry Pis, and an Arduino, and soldering iron. Believe it or not, I'm into all of that. And there's maybe some. I haven't had the soldering iron on, so that's not the smell. But I may fire that one up a little bit later and see if I can. Uh, well, I might. I have to sort of weigh the risks. See if I can make myself a little shortwave radio. I may just end up ordering one online. I'll probably order one online because I think the kind that I could make, which I do have the parts for from an old adapter I got that was also a keylogger and clearly a radio. Um, I'll probably end up buying one because I think they're a little bit of a fire hazard. The old Matchbox shortwave radio. Learned about it from a guy named Nathan, who I think he's an elderly gentleman, and I'm not sure what his status is now, but I think he worked for the Eisenhower administration. Very, very interesting man. Older man, and that was several years ago. I can't remember his last name. I wish I could. If I could, I'd look him up again, but I can't remember his last name. And in his heyday, I'm talking like it was like the Eisenhower, so it was way before I was even born. So he was one of the interesting characters that I can't remember what his title was, but he was very interesting and did a lot of blogging too. And I did take the time to read his blogs, even though he wasn't really publishing them out there a lot. Read through many of his blogs, and he had some really strong views on some topics that go beyond politics, and I think into an arena that we're really in right now, which I would just call flat out a holy war. And I'm not talking about your average, uh, you know, typical, your stereotypical, Arabic descent bullshit. I'm talking about homegrown bullshit. That's my opinion on that. Is that it's homegrown. It is. It's right here with us, and that comes from several years of observation, educated, some even educated guests. Basically, just a fact. Trust me, I know a lot about it. So anyway, I'm doing all right. And just a word out there. I wouldn't go traveling around the world right now unless you have to. It's not my job to tell people not to. So please don't get that mixed up. But from what I'm seeing, there's a comedian that's online and she can't even feel funny right now. And I saw last night she was posting some stuff from some airports and stuff, and it just looks kind of like, unless you have to go, overseas or somewhere, I hope that people are cautious. I do. And that's about all I'm going to say now, because this is a long rambling uh, vlog. I just wanted to sort of check in with people who give a shit about me, and say I'm okay. The smell is horrendous. I can't even show my face because my eyes are watering all the time. It looks like I'm crying and I'm not. Once in a while I'll shed a tear, but these are just clogged up eyes. I'm beginning to wonder if I need to wear one of those surgical masks like they do in China to keep the pollution or whatever it is from me breathing it in. So anyway, all right. I love you all that I'm following. If I'm not following you, you can go fuck yourself if you're seeing this on Twitter. If I'm not following you, I just thought that I wanted to put that out there with the I love you to the people that I am following on Twitter. Other than that,